CIO News. I'm Khushbu, Soni, your host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, which is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by the experience they provide, and every day millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is shaping what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnerships that deliver game-changing business benefits. Let me dive in introducing our guest for today. He is Mr. Goutam Datta, Chief Information Officer at Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. Goutam is a business and a technology vision person with a firm belief in creating tangible business value through use of technology solutions and innovation to drive business results. Goutam has more than 20 years of experience in strategizing, spearheading large-scale technology operations, and being in journey of evolution from traditional business process to customer experience-centric process to digital implementation. Goutam has worked for several brands along with Bajaj like ICICI Lombard, SL Group of companies, etc. Welcome, Goutam. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Khushbu. Nice to meet all of you this morning, and happy to be here with all of you.
Great. Along with me today, our moderator is Poonam Sharma. She is a sales engineering leader at Avaya India West. She's a dynamic and result-oriented professional with progressive leadership experience in enterprise and IT industry. She has exposure in providing solutions and ensuring revenue growth, skills in maintaining relationship with top-level executives and technology partners, developing GTM strategy to align pre-sales, product engineering, customer market requirements, etc. Welcome, Poonam.
Thank you, Khushbu.
Over to you, Poonam, to drive our conversation today.
Sure. Thanks, Khushbu. Good morning, sir, and a very warm welcome to this session. Thanks for your time today. I would like to start this interactive session. So, sir, we understand that Bajaj Allianz is one of the most trusted brand and among 75 most valuable in Indian brands in 2020, right? So we are keen to know that how are you managing your customer experience? I understand that there are multiple digital channels that BALIC is using, for example, the chatbot and other stuff. So what sort of digital channels are playing a vital role to deliver the supreme customer experience in BALIC?
Good morning, Poonam. It's a nice question. And yes, we are one of the top trusted brand. We are proud of it. Bajaj Allianz Life is a life insurance company. And if you understand life insurance, it's a long-term engagement with each of our customers. Whether it's protection, investment, whatever the customer's need is, it's long-term. One side, while it's long-term, the other side is the engagement happens only once or twice in a year, typically.
Right.
Right. So it's so very important that you use those one or two opportunity to interact with your customer nicely. Now, how do we interact with our customer? The big chunk of our interaction happens through digital mediums. Of course, there are branches and customer can always walk into a branch and have a chat and get his services done. Now, when we talk about digital, it has to be frictionless. It has to be intelligent to that extent possible. We also understand too much of intelligence at times creates problem for certain segment because they probably want a little bit of hand-holding many a times. Life insurance business also in itself is little more complicated than many other business. Okay, You have to understand how much money I have to pay, when do I have to pay, and how do I get back that money, when do I get back that money. All of that need to be also understood. So broadly, if a person comes up and tells you, you understand far easily than you looking into a page. Also, there is a trust factor, there is a transparency factor that comes into play.
Right.
When you think through all that, you understand how to exactly use those digital channels to reach out to our customer and let them experience the brand. So traditionally, a branch was the core service providing entity in this business. What we first did is we digitized that branch, made it available on a video kind of an environment where you can actually reach out to a branch office, take almost every services possible over a app or portal. Just log in, click through, and you are there, right? With COVID, of course, we have extended it that the other side, the branch operation, can actually log in from their home.
Right.
Okay, so again, you are actually not in the proximity as a customer, but you're getting exactly all the services that you normally get into a branch. Okay, barring maybe claims or partial withdrawal or something like that. Now that's where the video channel, we call it iServe.
Okay.
Barring that, not the most favorable or most used channel for every one of us, if I ask, without a blink of your eye, you would say WhatsApp. There is no price in guessing. So it's important that you are there on WhatsApp to reach out to your customer, because that's a channel everybody loves. So I'm happy to tell you that in last year, February, when you launched WhatsApp, and this is not a question answer bot, which means this is not you ask question and bot gives answer. This is a cognitive, AI driven, very, very structured bot. Okay.
Right.
Which means it understands what is the ask and it engages you in a conversation. The beautiful part is then it solves thousands of your questions. And today, as I see, little more than 2 lakh of unique customer has already transacted through this. And I'm saying unique customer. So if a customer must have came twice, thrice, or many times, I count it still one. 2
Right.
lakh customer for a life insurance company is a big sum of customer, right? So that's there. Uh, we have a industry's first implementation of something called Smart Assist. Smart Assist is a screen mirroring app. You don't need to install anything on your app. So what happens when you are reaching out to a new customer, a prospect? Earlier, it used to happen beside, we used to sit beside the prospect, have a cup of tea, engage in discussion, explain the whole cash flow, how much he has to invest and when he will get the return. There are lots and lots of questions that are asked and are answered, and in that process, there is a trust and transparency gets built up. Now,
Right, sir.
with COVID, this proximity has become a challenge. And you would find only Bajaj Allianz Live has got something like Smart Assist, which allows its advisors and sales managers to actually mimic or actually copy or actually share their screens remotely with their customer. Now, what happens when I enter something and you are just talking or you have already told me something? You always have a doubt in your mind, is my name spelling entered correctly? Is my email entered correctly? Is my date of birth entered correctly? Is my address entered correctly? And then there are hundreds of other variables, right? Your trust starts generating or depleting from here itself. As a brand, you could build your transparency from here itself. And over the time, it grows through other processes. So Smart Assist is one of those very contextual innovation that BALIC or Bajaj Allianz Life has done, where my sales manager's mobile insurance booking app can be extended to a customer or his device or her device. To that extent, it can also share the control, asking the customer, "Aap hi enter kare," right? Or getting to a call while doing this, so that it's far more easier. Or getting to a video call doing this. So uh, these are some of those things that we have started doing. Of course, because COVID, some of that happened much faster to enhance our customer experience towards the brand. This spreads across new business booking, it touches on service delivery, it also ensures higher productivity for my salespeople and internal service organization. These are the broad couple of things that I wish to highlight today. Of course, there are a laundry list of things, but let's move on.
Certainly, sir. And I think this is, one of the first reason that has covered 2.36 crores of lives throughout the nation today. So totally incredible, sir. And as per our discussion, I understand that the technology is playing a vital role for you in providing the enhanced customer experience to the BALIC customers. So at this point of time, sir, I want to understand, how important it is to migrate to the cloud. I understand BALIC has most of the things, migrated on the cloud already. But then what factors did you consider while migrating to the cloud in your industry?
Well, cloud in 2021 is no more a topic of discussion. It's almost given. Okay. Uh, However, I think I should highlight here, many looks at cloud as a compute alternative. So you have your hosted data center, internal data center, and you're moving into cloud for compute requirements, for server requirements, storage requirement, and stuff like that. To my mind, that's the low-hanging fruit of cloud. Of course, that is a requirement. That's a low-hanging requirement of cloud. You normally get into cloud when your ecosystem is ready for innovation. Ecosystem is ready to um, inculcate analytics or analytics behavior, analytics driven behaviors. Because cloud provides you these opportunities to increase in manifold. Okay. Uh, when our cloud journey started a little early, today we are probably on the both the boat, on-prem as well as on cloud. We call it hybrid cloud, and we are with multiple providers. Our CRM is on cloud. Our customer app and internal agent, insurance booking app is on cloud. Our HR portal is on cloud. Many of our productivity apps are on cloud, and it will grow. It will grow to come to an end state of establishing an open architecture. So cloud is a reality for all of us, and the journey has already started some time back. We are reaping the benefit of cloud, and from a strategy point of view, we would remain hybrid, which means on-prem as well as on cloud, and we would always have interoperability between clouds. So we will not get married to one provider.
I understand, sir. So, sir, you mentioned about the AI playing the role by migrating to the cloud, and in your first response, you spoke about different channels, right, which customers are using to reach out to the BALIC, be it the WhatsApp, be it the video calling, reaching out to the branches, right? So, are you mapping your customer journey across different touch points? And if yes, how important the analytics and AI proven when it comes to a customer journey mapping for BALIC customers?
See, analytics is a very, very important part for almost any business and extremely important for a life insurance business. Because your deep segmentation, your ability to create a pre-defined offer, for your customer and stuff like that helps you to build the brand, build the business story for your customer. In Bajaj Allianz Life, analytics plays a very important role. It is very, very critical that internally we all understand the basics of analytics, so much so that we often do training program internally so that everybody understands. Now, when you look into our lead management, the pipeline or the funnel through which a prospect becomes a customer, there are multiple thing works. How do you make the whole um, onboarding journey smoother? How do you know what would be the need of that person? What kind of product? What kind of tenure? What kind of investment? Is he a person for a longer investment? Is he a person who has a bad claim history or doesn't have a bad claim history but has a propensity to have a bad claim history? Uh, from there to onwards, what medium he is most comfortable with, what language he is most comfortable with, from where he is coming, what association he has, all of these matters for you to create a frictionless journey for him. So it's
Right.
not only what product and what payment term and what policy payment term, and that's important. That's important. With that, the softer attributes are also very, very important to create a very smoothing journey for him while he is experiencing the brand either through a digital channel like our portal or through a semi-digital channel like our advisor group or through our banker partner, wherever. In all of that, analytics plays an extremely critical role to ensure that we are there with a pre-approved offer or a pre-defined method to reach out to him. Some of that are created by us, our analytics team, the models and the AI boxes. Some of that are industry AI. Like he uploads a document. How do you parse the document, pre-populate his form?
Right.
Or he wanted to do a re-verification call. So how do you populate whatever data you have captured and allow him to speak in his own language and record it at that point in time and then play back that recording to him for his comfort and confirmation. So you look into any of these angles, apparently it looks very nice when it happens on the screen, but the back end there are lots of analytical model that works to make it happen seamlessly possible. Having all of this said, we are absolutely clear on the fact that we have kind of halfway through in our journey on this. Okay. There is a big chunk of possibilities that we are very clear to go and achieve. So there is a very clearly defined roadmap in front of us in terms of driving this and become a little more unique in the industry.
Sure, sir. Sure. So onboarding process is pretty much smooth as you just explained, and I'm sure you would have the claim and other processes as well, maybe part of the journey towards in the future. Balik anyway has the claim settlement ratio as high as 98.48%, right, as per 2020. So that's incredible itself, sir. So in all these things, sir, I want to understand how do you measure the CX? And would you throw some light to understand this, which our emerging CX heads in different enterprises can use this?
Uh, CX, which is customer experience, has to be seen in little different light. Often you would see an organization define CX parameters. My personal view is CX parameters should be defined based on the customer. If I only say that number of people coming through an online channel is my only CX, I might be looking only in one side of the game and not looking into other side of the game. It is important to look into that side, but it is also important to look into the whole bit of it. Now, when you look into the customer side of it, there are various segment of customer. For each of them, the brand or experiencing the brand means different things. Now, let's say there is a 18 to 25-year-old customer, very less number of people from that segment probably comes to life insurance. But that segment is completely digital. Yeah, that segment does not actually want to come to a branch office and experience the brand. So there, the digital KPIs make sense. How long is the journey? How many clicks? How many submits? How have been your languages that you have used on online portal or app? Because life insurance is jargon heavy. Okay, so those matters. Now, interestingly, during COVID, some of these got little more overlapped. The next bunch, if you see that 52 onwards, earlier we used to think this is a segment which prefers face-to-face interaction to experience the brand. If you experience a person who is well-mannered, well-groomed, nicely explaining everything, trustworthy, he represents better, right? But during COVID, what I saw, these segment also coming up on digital medium very heavily. Okay, their growth is probably faster than the young crowd's growth on digital channel. Now, they have a different thought process. They would love to see is this organization says the same thing in various channels. Okay, so if I have logged a call through call center and then I walk into, let's say branch, are they able to pick up the same thread and talk to me? So they are experiencing or they want to experience this brand as an omni-channel brand. So if you see these gaps, now when you talk about omni-channel, then again KPI goes a little different. And you got to focus on those KPIs to make sure that the brand is experienced accordingly. Right. So we have been now these are easy talking. When you get into the under the hood, it becomes really complicated. Okay, it requires culmination of tech stacks, analytics, lots of processes to be fine tuned, and then only this happens. It's not only tech. There are lots of other things has to come in place. And Bajaj Allianz Life as a brand, we are extremely focused on this part. So much so that the senior team in Bajaj Allianz Life would look through these matters very regularly and ensure that the actionables are taken care of. Again, having all of this said, if you ask me, are you there, that epitome of this? I don't think so. We still have a small journey to make to happen on this. But very clearly, the initiation has happened. And I'm proud to say that if you look into the Indian competitors, we would not be in the bottom five for sure. We would be in the top three or top four in terms of how to people experience us.
Sure, sir. That's great. I mean, the customer side digital journey has already started. So my last question is around this current situation and people who are inside BALIC, right? So how is the organization coping up with the current pandemic? You have already provided the digital channels and you have umbrella of analytics, which is powered by AI for the customers. However, the employees of BALIC who are working from home, right, during this pandemic situation, I'm sure you would have been handling them very well. So are you monitoring the employees who are in a work from home model, and are you adhering to the compliance and data security as well? I'm sure the IRDA would have some compliance to be followed, so want to understand that from you.
Well, we are probably 13th or 14th month of work from home. So naturally, you can expect that we are far more in control than maybe March last year. Okay. Fortunately, BALIC was among the first few BFSI in India who resumed their office after lockdown, after sudden lockdown on 23rd March 2020. So we could manage it at that point in time also. Of course, we should not talk too much about the whole security posture, but it is much above what regulator wanted us to maintain. Barring that, I think technology one part of it to manage COVID. And I think digitally and tech stack wise, virtualization and other stuff wise, we are very, very comfortable because it's already 13, 14 month rolling of this pandemic. It's been managed very well from the very beginning itself. I think what happened in the COVID, wave two, naturally, is as an organization, how have we stood with each of our customer, each of our partner, and each of our employee. That was something I feel commendable. Okay, so we do have policies to make sure that the female colleague of mine, they have their peaceful hours after 6 or 7. The lunch hours are defined. We do have very frequent connect among the team, which earlier we never used to do because we are already on the floor. We always on connect. But now we have a dedicated program to connect with our team members for various levels, starting on the top of the organization to the manager of that team. And we're doing it superbly. There is a monetary benefits. I won't call it benefits, but monetary assistance in case somebody is recovering or somebody have an unfortunate event at home. There is no bar on how much of leaves that you can take in case you need them. No question asked whatsoever. There is good enough assistance in case you fall into some very bad situation at home. Then there is sustainable long-term vaccination drive to make sure that the employees are safe. Now, some of these are not only to employees; these are employees to their families and even our partner resources. Okay, not only partner resources, even our customers through some big channels, even our business partners. So I think when you talk about COVID, digitally is a small challenge, and which I think we have managed very well since last March. But what we have evolved into as a brand is much more humanitarian. Those are actions which probably as a brand establishes us as far more humane than digital.
Sure, sir. So it was interesting to know both sides of the story, inside Balik, how well you have been managing with the employees, and therefore the type of customer experience that you are providing to your customers. So that was amazing to hear, sir. So these were the questions from my side. Thanks much for your time, sir. Over to you, Khushbu.
Great. Thank you so much, Poonam, for driving this session. Thank you so much, Gautam, for joining us today. It was great to hear from you on your journey and how did you manage to build and manage this brand even in the pandemic time. So great insights for our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us today, and it was a pleasure to host you.
Thanks, Khushbu. Thanks, Poonam. It was an interesting chat with all of you. Pleasure was all mine. Thank you.